Girl in the Picture is a new true crime documentary on Netflix that is both triggering and turbulent with so many twists and turns. This doc centers around a decades-old cold case involving a missing girl who was abducted at the age of 4, groomed, and assaulted by a man she believed was her father. This mystery eventually leads to a hit-and-run investigation of a 20-year-old pedestrian named Tonya Hughes. Tonya left behind a toddler named Michael, who was fostered by a couple but eventually kidnapped and killed by the man authorities believed killed his mother. After seeing images of Tonya on the news, internet sleuths and childhood friends were able to help the FBI uncover Tonya's true identity, locate her family, and capture the serial killer responsible. And that's not even the half of it. This story will have your jaw on the floor. Again, there are so many twists and turns. Let me slow it down just a bit. Tonya Hughes was in an abusive relationship and was run down by a hit-and-run driver, presumably by her husband, father, kidnapper, Clarence Hughes, which is an alias. He went by so many names. One of his names is Franklin Floyd. He was a career criminal and had been on the lam from federal prosecutors, a fugitive for decades. Now, Tonya's orphan son, Michael, as I said, ended up in foster care with this lovely couple, and they were just getting Michael to acclimate around other kids, just getting him to some semblance of normalcy. And then one day at school, he gets kidnapped by Clarence Hughes from school. Clarence doesn't only kidnap Michael, he kidnaps the principal. He forces the principal to release Michael to his custody, and he takes both of them to the woods. He doesn't kill the principal, but he kills Michael, shooting him twice in the back of the head, execution style. And these foster parents have had him for maybe 4 years, I think it was. Now, Tonya Hughes' death made national news, and her friends noticed, her childhood friends noticed her image and realized that the news, like these journalists, these reporters, had her name wrong. She's actually Sharon Marshall. And it doesn't stop there. Sharon Marshall was a gifted young woman, gifted student who was accepted into Georgia Tech's aeroscience program. Yes, she was going to be a rocket scientist. But her strict father, this Clarence Hughes guy or whatever his name is, forbid her to attend because she got pregnant senior year. Right then, I knew where this story was going. He forced her to have this child with every intention to put the baby up for adoption. So they run off to Arizona and put this baby girl up for adoption. Now, it's unknown how many children Sharon Marshall had with Clarence Hughes, but at least 2. So this little girl she put up for adoption and baby Michael, who was killed. And she was so excited that she was accepted into Georgia Tech, and her friends were excited for her. This was a full scholarship. She was getting a full ride to Georgia Tech. But she told friends that, her dad was making her move to Arizona. But they ended up in Florida, where she became an exotic dancer and prostitute while pregnant. And the owner of the club saw how abusive Michael was and how he was forcing her into stripping and prostitution. So she was exploited her whole life. And it doesn't stop there. This deranged serial killer abducted her at 4 years old, violated her, abused her, assaulted her, and coerced her to commit crimes with him. And when he was done with her, he ran her down with his vehicle and left her on the side of the road like carcass. After some thorough investigating for decades, FBI tracked down Franklin Ford, one of his aliases, while he was trying to renew his driver's license and hauled him off to jail. But now, where is baby Michael? Franklin claims he had no idea where his son was. FBI said Franklin looked like he was trying to flee to Atlanta, Georgia when they caught up with him. He had one bus ticket, no bus ticket for Michael, so they knew that he had done something with Michael. All they needed to know is where did he bury baby Michael's remains. Franklin was tried and convicted in Florida and sentenced to 55 years in prison. This investigation was extensive and again spanned for decades. Authorities eventually learned that Franklin executed baby Michael in the back of the head and killed Michael's mother, whose real name was not Tonya Hughes. Her real name was Suzanne Marie Sevakis. Franklin Ford was tried and convicted for those crimes and sentenced to death in 2002. It's 2022. It's been 20 years, and Franklin Floyd is still awaiting his execution date. Girl in the Picture is currently streaming on Netflix.